on Focus Asia. An unjust solution, are village courts making a mockery of Pakistan's legal system? Why more and more men are becoming wives of Myanmar's Nat spirits? And we investigate the legacy of the nuclear arms race in Kazakhstan.
Hello and welcome to Focus Asia from our studios in Hong Kong. I'm Shakuntala Santavan. We begin tonight in rural Pakistan, where disputes are frequently settled by a panchayat or village court, also known as a jirga. This ancient system of justice often takes precedence over national laws. But a case where a woman was gang raped as punishment for another alleged crime has brought the legitimacy of the entire jirga system under the spotlight. Joe Kynes reports.
Sana Ullah is on trial for murder. He's accused of killing a hunting companion, and the dead man's family want justice. It might not look like it, but this is the closest most people in Pakistan's tribal areas get to a court of law. This is a jirga, a traditional tribal council which often takes the place of regular courts when disputes arise. Instead of a judge and jury, a tribal leader will try to mediate and guide the parties towards an agreement. Tradition dictates the men sit in a circle.
It shows equality and justice. Since all of them sitting on the ground, and even the Jirga members are sitting on the ground, it shows equality. Because they belong to some same family, same tribe, same blood.
Offer and counteroffer are discussed until the accused family agrees to pay blood money amounting to a hefty $10,500 fine. As a measure of goodwill, the victim's family must forfeit half of the cash to the tribe for its business costs. The case has never been referred to local police or courts, which the tribesmen consider corrupt and slow to act.
If this was in a civil court, do you think?
Yeah, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And here they won't pay any money to court or to policemen. They won't pay any. They get it very soon. So you sort yourself, and maybe 1.5 or 2 hours, you came to a final decision.
The jirga system, or panchayat as it is known in other tribal areas of Pakistan, dates back centuries, and for many is still the preferred method of settling all kinds of disputes.
It's fast and cheap, and the people who appear in the tribal jirga system, they don't have to pay any fee to anybody. There are, loopholes everywhere. There are corruptions in all systems all over the world, but tribal system is much better than the proper, the government legal system.
It's worked here, but it's not everyone's idea of justice. Other jirga councils have sanctioned murder and forced marriages as compensation for crimes. And it is decisions like those which some believe means the jirga system is losing its authority.
I don't believe that it represents justice. It doesn't.
Why not?
It doesn't. Because the decision is influenced by the elders. The decision is influenced by those who have the power. The decision is influenced or taken by those who have their own interest to keep the status quo.
While the jirga in this part of Balochistan province favors financial compensation even for serious crimes, punishments as severe as execution or the exchange of female family members is still common in many tribal zones. And some of the decisions reached have raised grave concerns about the role of this ancient form of justice in Pakistani society.
They raped me. Despite my cries, it lasted for an hour before they threw me out.
A gang rape was the justice meted out to Mukhtar Mai after her younger brother was accused of having an affair with a girl from the neighboring Mastoi family. A panchayat was called in this field to settle the dispute. The group was dominated by men from the rival tribe. When they ordered Mukhtar Mai and her brother to marry into their family, she tried to refuse.
I had no idea what they had decided when they told me to come. They had promised my father I would be safe and I would be allowed to plead for mercy on my brother's behalf. I was sitting only about as far away from them as you are from me now. Suddenly 4 men, including 2 from the jury, stood up and dragged me to a room nearby. I pleaded with them, "In the name of Allah and the Quran, what are you doing?"
After the assault, the 30-year-old was forced to walk home nearly naked in front of hundreds of people. None dared to intervene. Her father says police only investigated the case after media reports created nationwide outrage.
We've had panchayat here in the past, and sometimes they made cruel decisions, such as breaking people's hands. But they never did anything as criminal as this. Our family did nothing wrong, yet we were punished.
Although horrific, human rights activists say my story is not unique.
Now, this one particular case has attracted attention. So people are questioning the verdicts of the Jirga, but it is happening every day in Pakistan. And the Jirga members are all men. They are all prejudiced against women. They are anti-poor.
Pakistani authorities were eventually forced into action, arresting 12 men who took part in the tribal jury. 4 were convicted and sentenced to death. Their cases are now being appealed. Pakistan's government believes the federal court delivered a strong, if belated, message.
The people are conscious, the administration is conscious, the police and law enforcement agencies, as well as the justice system has taken notice of that. And I'm sure efforts are already in place to make sure that such a thing is never repeated.
The reality is, though, abuses by Jirga tribunals are likely to be repeated. Pakistan's Human Rights Commission says the appearance of Jirga beyond the tribal stronghold is a symptom of central government failure.
It is emerging as an alternative system to our judicial system. You see, the crisis of governance that we have, the failure of justice system that we have, is creating space. And in this space, these extra-judicial tribunals are emerging.
Tribal leaders say Jirga will continue to have a role as long as the rule of law remains weak.
It's corrupt. It's very corrupt. So people don't feel like going to that system. So if we get replacement of proper judiciary system, which is very cheap, very fast, people won't go to Jirga system.
For the Gujar family, justice outside the Jirga system has been a mixed blessing. They now face death threats, and Mukhtar Mai has lost her job as a religious teacher. They warn that unless attitudes to the village courts change soon, their plight may only serve as a warning of more injustice to come.
Coming up, meet Myanmar's Spirit Wives.